Welcome back to our continued coverage of Levels by Wariuzzo here as we play through the series I've been calling Mario Maker 1 All-Stars. We are continuing about an hour after we left off unexpectedly. We cleared Vita Champion mech. This fantastic punch-out concept. It was a ton of fun, and then we hit a disconnection at the end of that because the Wii U servers were under maintenance. Possibly something, I think, to do with the rampant connection issues that we had actually getting into Maker 1 in the first place. But anyway, we got back in really smoothly without any trouble, so maybe something was fixed on that end, or just because my Wii U was on suspend for the duration, perhaps we just connected to the same server that worked before and didn't have too much trouble with that either. So we'll see in future days if the connectivity to Maker 1 improves, but currently we are back in. We had streamed this successfully, beginning to end, and so I might go back and stamp the clear like and all that later on. Also, we haven't been showing off the Maker ID stack. I keep forgetting to click that. But yeah, we did clear it. I'll stamp the clear, I'll stamp the like later on, probably separately. But for now, we're going to move on with some new content. Drop Trip, what type of levels do I like? Kind of all sorts. I play a great deal of puzzles on this stream. I also play a lot of concept platformers, basically, that have a really, I don't know, sophisticated technical setup behind them often. I'm usually interested in complex things that makers are doing to get the most out of the engine and squeeze what they can out of the game. And we're starting to see that here after some of the initial run of levels where one was clearly just warming up with the editor in the early weeks of the game, and then now we're getting into good stuff. So we'll continue with You Can't Wait for Mario. And yes, Bonafide, we are indeed back. Drop Trip, the level you wanted to submit was deleted. Let me know what it is, and I wonder if it was something potentially re-uploaded that I'm able to find. It might just have been deleted, though, so not sure either way. But if you have some sense of what the level was called or who made it, if it was something that was re-uploaded, maybe we're able to track it down. Anyway, let's go on and let's see. Oh, it was a glitch level. Yeah. If you're talking about Maker 1, that is. But if it's Maker 2, then we can do some kind of a coordinated upload, rather, at some point. Or anyway, You Can't Wait for Mario version 1.1. Yeah, Maker 1 level. I wonder. Yeah, because I don't know. A number of glitch levels in Maker 1 were re-uploaded right at the end of uploads being available, which I think was cut off about 3 years ago, I want to say. I think it was cut off in 2021 or so. And I know some people who previously had levels deleted by Nintendo did successfully re-upload and get their levels to stay on the server, so. But today I'm just playing Maker 1, and today I'm just going through Wariuzzo's list anyway. But if you have suggestions, do send it to me here in the chat or in the Discord, and we'll try to, roll them all into the same session at once at some point. So, let's play. And let's hope this works. Is there still a site that focuses on Maker 1? Not really, because the official bookmark site from Nintendo went down years ago. So there are, some scattered links to projects and playlists and collaborative worlds that are around. There's an old Kaizo Mario wiki that had some Maker 1 lists there that I think is very outdated. There's also this website here that we were using for the anniversary projects, which also had some other collaborations listed on it in terms of lists of active level codes. Anyway, what are we doing? You can't wait for Mario. Okay, so Princess Peach is going to break out of jail. That's what this is. It's a Princess Peach jailbreak level. And is she going to do anything about the swamp? She's going to, well, probably just come out through the pipe, I think. Or not. And how is she going to break out of here? Through here? No. Oh, through the vine, yes, okay. You need to be somewhat observant for the jailbreak to have it. Whoops. We'll go to the left as well. And navigate out this way. Seems like there are multiple valid paths through this as well. And if we lower the thwomp, that would lower the bombs, and then do we need the bombs or something? I guess we'll see. We do. We need the bombs down here, so we need to drop the bombs down here, have access to that thwomp. And we need to get the thwomps to... well, we need to break the other side first, so we kind of need to open up a passage for the bombs to come through. Oh, let's get back out. And the bomb was lit up down there, and it will break that open. Good. And let's get out of here. Oh, guards are coming, but they're going to light up the bomb themselves, and it's going to open up a passage for me to exit. As long as we don't stand too close. So, Princess Peach is going to find her way out of the airship. The SMM1 airship. Rather than the castle she was expecting to be trapped in, I suppose. And then, whoops. I mean, it is SMM1 partly because of the amiibo costumes being available in the Steam in the first place via the mystery mushroom. Always love looking at the different animations with the characters. As you look up, for instance, that's how you get the parasol to come out. Anyway, looks like it's going to be this way to the left, but oh, what was there? It looked like a big Koopa, perhaps, that we'll have to send all the way to the right. We'll chase it over and see what's going on. Yep, that's exactly it. And we get a stiletto for Princess Peach to look very stylish. That'll allow you to step on a thwomp and ride it all the way up. Yeah, I guess this would be too lengthy to skip over necessarily as Mario just by intentionally taking damage on thwomps and coming up here. I don't think you'd reach the mystery mushroom in time. And we'll just unpick this gradually as that guy comes in as well. And then here, this gives you a bit of power-up replenishment if you need anything. And if you have accidentally taken damage up to this point. R as a reminder to jump. And yeah, in Mario, we managed to connect immediately. And then Chain Chomp Jail is luckily not going to hit me at all. The vines were perfectly placed to evade that. Bit of a security oversight from Bowser's prison system here. I think we need to lower the thwomp and then kick the shell across. Well, lower the thwomp and then... Whoops, nope, hang on, we're in trouble now. Kind of trapped myself there. I don't know if they were connecting, or rather sorting out the connection issues. It's entirely possible that because I just had my Wii U on suspend, it might have just connected to the same server that I was already trying to talk to, so we won't really know if it's fixed until the next time I try to connect from scratch, I think. Because I just left my Wii U on suspend for a little under an hour, and then... Okay. Whoops. We're not close enough here to... We should just kick it back and then instead of trying to race it over, we'll just kick it this way. Then we'll bounce it. Whoops, no. Kick it this way, and then bounce it, and then totally lose it. And then we needed to drop the other one, yeah. So that was just done incautiously. And we stand over here, that's a lot more sensible. Oops, nope, and then we lower that one. Yeah, that's what it is. You had a level called Clean the Sewers. Yeah, I can't look into it right now while I'm playing, but we'll look that up. Okay. Now, alright, let's flip it over. It's going to raise some bombs. We'll want to raise some bombs and pop over here as well. I, of course, lost a Peach costume that makes this all work aesthetically, but we managed to get it back, and that will do just fine. You think you have a lot of levels I would like? That's good to know. Yeah, it's too bad we don't have maker codes in one either, but that's because we used to all rely on the bookmark site quite a bit. That is no longer an option. Now we need to drop the thwomps at a particular time. Right, to block things off. So the bomb doesn't fall into the trap. Whoops. Need to watch the timing here though. Here we go. Block it off. Then, whoops. Nope. It's gonna get crushed. Here we go. Then we'll let it through, I think. Nope. That's okay, it'll bounce back. I hope. Let's wait until it is in position. There we go, and that'll be fresh. And we'll go down. And yeah, people got a lot of mileage out of the Samus costume in the first game for sure. Especially because very open layouts in the Metroid style I think were much more popular than Maker 1, just given the way Maker 1 was put together. Alright. And we are out of that zone. Whoops. So much for the stiletto. And we'll just stomp on him until we're done. Whoops. Oh. That's not a great idea. Let's maybe get the Peach costume in the bottom right here. There we go. And we'll just continue stomping him until we're quite finished. Oh, that's going to be a risk. Nope. It's okay. We'll just try to step on him again. It's going to take a certain number of hits. Whoops. Nope. And no. Whoops. This is getting a little bit risky. Let's once again go back. Yeah, we need to get close enough to the left to be within view of the pipe since no scroll stop back then. There we go. Now we need to bust through this. No, we don't. We just need to come through here. And then you open this up. And then where do we go from there? Where was that going? Was that through something else? No, this just opens up because that allows you to fly through with the clown car. I think that's all it's doing there. Flying through with the clown car then allows you to escape this way. And I think you do need to drop the boot. And then Bowser's just going to open up his own castle for me, which is nice. How courteous of you, thank you. We do have to dodge some of the other bombs now that we are being chased for real. Oh, nearly died to that bomb over there. That would not have been ideal. I guess we should have let Bowser chase me a little further so we could authentically drop him in this way. The way that Mario does himself when he's busy doing this job. Now let's hopefully not have any connection issues here we're about to see. I mean, everything has been a bit sluggish anyhow, so we'll see how this works. But yeah, we've been getting pretty slow responsiveness across the board when completing or liking levels, but still seems to work. One screen puzzle number 1. This is in 2015. 0.41 clear rate, but then of course this is a very popular profile. We'll see how hard it actually is. Looks like it's quite deadly as far as puzzles go, but we will take a look at it and find out. Okay. We need to reach the goal. And is there a reason that I can't pick up the P? I mean, we want to use POW plus P over here, but we need to carry one object through with us. I think we do in order to step on it once we head up. And whichever object we take is not... Yeah, we have to step on a P down here. It's going to be P jump down below. The reason for that is that we have to carry the POW up in order to have a platform that doesn't obstruct us with that coin up top, so... Whoops. I was trying to P-jump off that, that wasn't very successful. Oh, then I wonder if that is the case, because... Well, we'll see. Because... We'll see if we can P-jump, there we go. And then we would place a POW on the left side, I think. Eventually we'll have to activate a POW in order to get rid of that muncher. But before we do that prematurely, let's just make sure we know what we're doing here. We can always cycle around up top. We can get rid of the muncher, we can also place a number of these objects safely so we can preserve them. Looks like we would need to hit this from below anyway. Hitting this from below, however, is going to remove the muncher, but also lower the entire stack by 1, which we don't want. Because the stack is sitting on top of this one-way panel right now, but if we hit one POW there, the spring is no longer going to be accessible. And I think we do need it. Which tells me that we need to activate a POW that is not the one that is on the stack. So we just throw this POW, I think. And then we get this out of the way, and then we hit the next one. This is going to be a little bit tricky here. Let's... Oh, no, that's okay. We'll leave this here so we can still take it. Yeah, the lineup as you come down a one-way panel does solve this slightly. So... we do need to place something to the right. We better drop down this way. Oh, should have faced left there. That's not quite what I was going for, but we'll take it, I guess. Ideally, in fact, we have the spring on the right side. It doesn't matter. We just drop it. Nope, not like that. However, if we drop the spring down here... Nope, that's not gonna work. Okay, I think we blew it. Unless... Oh, no, I was trying to drop it on the right side now, and that would have saved it. Yeah, sorry, Drop Trip, I'm not completely up on the chat right now. I was just a little bit behind. But, yeah, let me just take a look here. Right, no, we wanted the P first. That's what we determined. Anyway, down here, and then we'll jump up. Up here. We'll wait for this. Okay. Let's head over here. And yeah, we knew that we have to fire this. And we know that we have to hit something else once we grab this one. Line up, come back up. I actually haven't really taken a close look at what we'll need on the other side, because once we get rid of that muncher, we would still need one additional POW hit. Well, probably from this POW then. In order to unstack both of the munchers on the other side. Once we do that, we need to send quite a few objects across in order to cross over on the right. And then we would have one additional POW hit that becomes available. Oh, I see. Yeah. You'd basically have to drop and hang right. And then use the POWs down below to hit this POW that's lodged up here. Maybe. Then you can get on top of the blue platform before you trigger the falling on it, and then you can use that to jump over. But then once you jump over, you need some more objects to fall on, and you need a certain number of objects that are thrown into that slot so you can jump up to where the thwomp is sitting. And once you get there, then we'll get on top of the semi-solid and see what happens, but I believe there's a passage through where the ceiling is open where we can walk around back there. So let's come up here. Let's hit one POW. We're going to come down and yeah, in order to get more objects across, well, we can't use the POW on this end, I think. But we can't use it for anything else either. So why don't we just take this out for now and then we'll determine what we need afterwards. Because the way I'm looking at this, yeah, we need to carry multiple objects across. Oh, whoops, didn't mean to step on that. That was a mistake. I feel like maybe we needed to keep this POW here. We can kind of stack halfway. And that would have allowed me to put two objects down here. One being the POW, one being the P. Like we would have taken a P here and then a POW here. That might have been able to get me across. Of course, we can always try to jump up through here. The problem here, though, is that I think we did need one additional POW at this point. Yeah, we're kind of down by one POW. Because otherwise we don't really have a way to get up. We might even need to take the spring into this point, although if you're standing on top of a POW, you have enough tiles to jump up to the other spring. Drop the spring over here, then you jump up across the top right, and then you fall down into the bottom right. Okay. So yeah, if we hadn't activated a P, we would have been fine. Most things are in the correct sequence at the moment. Then we're gonna go down. Up. Hit this POW. Probably hit the other muncher, and then we'll try to fall down safely without activating the platform. Try not to activate a P. Gonna do the half step up here. Yeah, the fact that we skipped over this one POW interaction here, though, I wonder if that becomes relevant. Now, the thing about the P-switch, though, is I think we do need it. I can't quite see. No we don't. We just need to drop into the bottom right. Very curious. I don't know what's going on with the whole hard block thing there. Oh, think I see. Let's take a look at how this will work. Drop the P here. Drop the POW here. Pick up this POW and jump across. Then, go through. Oops. Then we jump up to this. Okay, that overlap is thankfully not an issue. Then what's... oh, whoops, that's a mistake. Didn't mean to push that. I was trying to drop the spring onto the right side, and then we just had a bit of an execution mistake there, so... Yeah. Can I jump up out of here? Yes, I can. Yeah, I wonder about that whole setup around the goal, because I feel like there's some kind of trick there, like an invisible block that you hit that spawns a bomb or something. Like if you go for the goal, maybe you create a block that you then need to bust through. Or something like that. I feel like there's definitely going to be some kind of surprise at that point. Because if you look at the hard blocks, it looks very much like the point is to maybe spawn a bomb or something to blow some of that up. But we'll get back there and we'll see what it actually is. And yep, take this one out. Ball to the right. Let's get the P out of the way so we don't accidentally step on it while we're doing the placement. We'll go P first. Make the bottom of the stack. And POW. Yeah, I feel like there are definitely some extraneous elements I haven't been using thus far. But we don't know how the whole area above the swamp is going to look just yet, so it could be more surprising. Oops, that's a failure. But we previously made that jump, so that's not an issue, I don't think. Whoops, nope, hang on. Let's work on the execution here. Some of these collisions are a bit different than Maker 1 as well in terms of the object overlaps as you drop them. Okay. Get this one here. Then we have one more that we can use. That seems fine. Again, let's get the P out of the way. Create the appropriate stack over here. And then... nope, bumped my head. Yeah, it's this one-way panel collision that throws me off quite a bit in Maker 1. We previously made that jump just fine though, so this method works. It's just a little fussy and maybe there's a lower execution alternative. But if we use the spring, I wonder what other surprises will lie in store above the twomp once we get there, because it seems like we have a pretty clear passage up to that point. I'm not too worried. Wrap around, grab this. Then be extra careful. Yeah, I mean, obviously there are a few pieces that we're just not using much of yet. We'll see how to become relevant. Whoops. Hang on. This placement is a little bit fussy. There we go, that should be clear. Nope, hang on. Try it again. Yeah, maybe this seemingly tight bit here wasn't really intended. Not really sure. But we're going to use the POW to stack on top of the plop and trade up to the spring over here. And then, whoops. Oh, no. Hang on. I don't want to step on that. Now we're in a bit of a bind, I think. No, we're not. We're fine. Unless we need to carry an object through or something. Yeah, look at all this up here. That's strange. So, what's the trick here? Yeah, a bomb, as I expected. But then, why can't I just come through here? And come back around. What's preventing me from doing that? Oh, the fact that the bomb stays up once I'm in this location. Okay, that's different. Well then. Oh, no. Thought I could just sneak around underneath the one tile. I think probably that's not going to happen. I think that's tuned to not be possible. Okay, so that's the complication. I thought I could just smoothly go around the clump, and I didn't think about how, if you're on the same row as its top tile, you're not actually going to lower it. I feel like there was a way to improve that placement a little bit to make it through there, though. Anyway, we'll just sweep around this whole layout a little bit more. So I guess we'll probably have to adjust this method just to clean a few things up about it. And let's hope that's enough of a ledge to work with. It is. Oops. Then, yeah, we'll just... Yeah, that's the thing, is that... I'm still thinking about this in Maker 2 terms, in terms of when I'm able to jump in a place like that. I really do need to kind of slide out from under one-way panels and jump, as we did before, to make that work. Otherwise, you just have to reset the whole attempt from that point, which is unfortunate. Anyway. Let's wait. Very kind of the level to just give me a natural tea break. Right in the middle. Okay, so we've seen the complication. I'm going to see if we can work around that somehow. Maybe that we're quite short on the objects that we require. Anyway, let's avoid accidental step on the P. Yeah, it looked very much like the slot under the goal screen would spawn a bomb. We just don't know what it gets us. Because we'd need to place an extra object to have a falling location, I guess, over that one-way panel to the left of the goal. But nothing more to pick up on the other side, though, so whatever we take with us here is what we get. So yeah, the number of extraneous elements that we're Gonna look here. Might become relevant. Let's put it through the middle like that. Yeah, one tile here is not going to be much to work with, however. You lower this. I mean, I can always just kill the Thwomp. Why can't I just kill the Thwomp? Because then you would lose a POW that I would need as an object to carry through. But then I can just use a spring, so why not just do that? What's the issue? I don't see why I can't do that. Ah, because if you put a spring on the bottom, then you're not going to get through the question block here. You actually do need a POW through there. Through here specifically. I was thinking, okay, why don't I just put a spring down there? Because you won't be able to get through. That's the issue. So you do need to preserve a POW in order to drop it in this slot. So you can't just whack the Thwomp with a POW. Unless you have an extra POW to work with somewhere, which you would if you... kind of restricted on the number of objects that we can work with here. But if we kind of block off the Thwomp by setting it down and placing 2 objects there, when we come back here, and we use this POW to kill the Thwomp, we can totally reach it from ground, can't we? Or if we take an object and put it here... But, well, basically we would force the Thwomp to be grounded first, then we can remove 1 object, take it back here. The problem is that we can't get back up at this point due to the lack of a panel, so... Seems like we're kind of short by 1 object from the other side then. Anyway. First couple of steps seem relatively straightforward though. And then, yeah, because the Divine Climb and the spike over there basically enforce that objects are reset at this point. So we can fire at this muncher, unless there's a reason that I would like to save it. One thing you can do is place an object here, maybe, such that it's within grab range when you're coming in from the other side. Like, you know, you come through here, and then you're within grab range of something that's a half tile over. There is a natural logical problem with that, though. Whoops. Because you don't need to spring to get up to that. Yeah, no, I know how to do it, in fact. I know how to do it. Whoops, no. Okay, let's wrap around it again, because I think I know what adjustment I need to make. We can take this POW and just jump off of it towards Divine, instead of spending it right away later. And then... yeah, I see how this would... potentially mitigate one of the complications. But what we do is we actually place the spring over here. And we try to make it so that we can grab it on the other side. Whoops, no, that's a mistake. Let's try to place it so that we can take this POW, jump up here, come up here, grab it from the other side and throw. The problem is that you do need 1 additional POW activation before you leave, and that's okay, we have it. But then you would still have the muncher down below blocking off at 1 POW. That's okay, because with an extra spring, you can skip around that platform until you need it, and then you can go back to that platform later to use it to kill the Thwomp and the last remaining muncher at the same time. I'm not describing it very clearly, but when I show you the solution, I can illustrate what I have in mind. Assuming I can execute it, but the idea is that you do this first. Then, take this and we'll place it carefully here, so that we can grab it on the other end in a moment. Next we hit this. Next we climb up. And then we grab if we can. No, we're going to be on the other side one with panel. It's a little out of range. No, it's not actually. We made it. And then we just fire this across. Yeah, the one-way panel obstructing the vines here is throwing me off a little bit. What we do is we just do this. I probably want to grab the vine to lower it, so the spring rather, to lower it so we don't run into issues. Oh, except I can't grab it across the one-way panel. So I shouldn't have thrown it like this. I should have just carried it and fallen into the right. That's okay, that's a small adjustment, we can do it. Yeah, that's the right idea. That's you have a lot more leeway with the one-way panels than in Maker 2 where the collision logic for them totally changes. Have to place this out of the way anyway, but let's just try to somewhat precise with this. Hit. Climb. Instead of throwing, we're going to carry this. Nope, nope. Too far. So, oops, a bit of an execution. Nope, we don't want to exit. That was a mistake. Let's go back in. That was a mistake. Let's dive back in. We're still working on it. Okay, so what we do is we drop. Grab the P, drop here, P jump off of it. Drop over here. So the idea is that I grab the spring across the one-way panel and then I fall with it down to the pow p pow stack that you see in the middle. But this interaction is a little sensitive here in terms of where you're allowed to place it. That should be far enough. I'd be really surprised if it weren't. Anyway, we come down here. Come up here, try to grab carefully. There we go. Then, oh, no. I think we would need an additional object there, perhaps. Yeah, because, or you place it and then you climb. Yeah, we can probably place it and have it place across delicately over where the double muncher stack is on the top middle vine. The idea is that we want to steadily cart the one-way panel across, so not the one-way panel, cart the spring across so that it doesn't get stuck in an unobtainable position. Margins are a little bit tight, but I think we could do it. If I killed all three munchers on a blue platform, well, here's the thing, is that I don't want to use the blue platform yet. I want to use the blue platform last. Eventually, what I want to do is I want to ground the thwomp, and then I want to go back to the POW that is tucked over the donut block. At that point, when you get that POW, it forces you to activate the blue platform. And that's the constraint that we have to worry about. But at that point, we're able to kill the muncher at the bottom of the stack. Yeah, right now the thing is, if we use the spring by carrying it across, we no longer have a way to activate this POW that I'm standing on currently. So the numbers do work a little differently here. That far enough? Bit precise, but we'll take it. But I'm able to just place this across like this. Good. And then we have a vine climb. We grab this and we just fall to the... Huh. I was able to do that previously. I wonder if holding the spring changes anything with that. With the collision, or if I just didn't have enough momentum. I think I just didn't have enough momentum. And in fact, the vine goes through the top anyway. Why didn't we just go through the top? Why didn't we just go through the top? I don't think that's a ceiling tile there, but we can't quite see on the camera right now. Oh. Okay. Down here. Oh yeah, there is a ceiling tile there, okay. But you can kind of see what I'm going for here. That, whoops, no. It is very execution sensitive in some ways if you're not careful. Hence the usually low clear rate for a puzzle. Definitely lots of ways to fail it. I wonder about that whole conveyor belt skull and everything on the right side though. Whether that's just for the ending sequence or something else. I don't know what the skull does. Or what complications still lie in store. We're going to drop this here. Nope, it's standing too far over. I need to fix the line up there, basically. Just try to get that set up reliably. I think it can be done. Yeah, that's good. Should be good anyway. Like this guy. Then back over. Grab carefully. Place. We want the, So maybe holding the spring actually does affect that. I was able to fall down gently just fine before, and I wonder if it's a momentum issue or what. Actually, then I guess I just spend one of the POWs that are in the bottom tower. And then lower the muncher that way. Okay, you know what? Let's try to do this in a way that's a little lower execution. And I think it might set me short by one POW, but we will see if that's the case. Because I think this will work. We just need to reorient some of the objects that we're working with. Mine was a little further over. There we go. Jump up and grab. Okay, now we're going to do it differently this time. We're going to toss. We're going to go down. Then, what I'm going to do from this point is we're going to spend one POW. Again, we can't hit this one yet because we don't want to blow the blue platform until we are absolutely certain we know what we're doing with it. But we can spend one POW here, and we'll have to stack E plus POW on the right side, or so it seems. But if you take the spring and place it there instead, I think you're actually fine. So let's say we do this. I think I am kind of short by one object because we need... oh, no, that was a mistake. Yeah, there's something I'm trying to demonstrate with this, and I think I see a sequence that will get us pretty far. I think I might be short by one object, because remember, we need to have one POW on top of the thwomp in order to jump up to the other spring. But instead of having P plus POW to the left of the hard blocks that are destroyed by the bomb, why don't we just put one spring there instead? And then that would actually perhaps cut my budget by one object, I think. But we'll have to see. I think we're going to be short by one object, though, for reasons that will become clear. Well, ideally, we can get the spring down safely the way that we're falling down gracefully before, but... No, hang on. Too risky. Yeah, because it's strange to me that when you fall just by yourself, you can make it over just fine, but when you fall holding the spring, you get into trouble with the one-way panel in such a way that the muncher kills you. That does not seem obvious to me. That would be the case. Okay, hopefully that's good. If it's not, we'll just place it again. Oh, that's too far. Or not. Have I fell through by myself without the spring already at the bottom? Yes, I have. And that's the thing, is that I'm surprised that I can't seem to fall through while holding the spring. It might be just a momentum issue, but the thing is the one-way panel cuts your momentum anyway, so that can't be it. I think it's because there's some kind of difference in collision with the one-way panel depending on whether you're holding the spring. The one-way panel logic, again, is a bit different in Maker 1 and 2. Or you could just throw it, well... Wait, I could just throw it like that across the one-way panel? That seemed unusual. Oh, wait a minute. What? Except, okay, no, I managed to get through the muncher previously. I think it's just a momentum change. I did not expect that either. It's like it went over the one-way panel almost with the initial throw. But yeah, one-way panels in Maker 1 are... prone to unconventional behavior, I suppose. Or, well, basically you can't apply Maker 2 thinking to them. That was very unusual. But anyway, I was able to get out past a muncher before, and... maybe it, whoops, was just a momentum issue. Yeah, better to undershoot this slightly than overshoot. Oh, hang on. Move over slightly. I wonder if I can just jump up directly to this vine. If I can, then that solves the problem because we just have the POW. You know what? I'm going to try this. A moment. No, it doesn't get me nearly far enough. Oh, now we're in trouble. Now we're in trouble. No, there's something I want to try, and I just haven't been able to get to that stage yet because didn't manage to repeat what I did earlier with just getting through the muncher stacks. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I only fell through there previously if I had already unstacked all 3 munchers, and what I was avoiding was not the muncher, but the blue platform. Possibly I'm wrong about that then. Yeah, I thought I could just go over with 1 muncher remaining, but maybe I'm misremembering, and I was merely going over and missing the blue platform with no munchers on it. I think, given the failures in the last few attempts, I should assume that I was misremembering and that 1 muncher is still 1 too many. Because previously we used this POW that I'm standing on right now to get rid of the last one. And then we would use the spring to make it over. But it's not going to happen here. That's okay, we'll go back to the method I was trying previously before we had a bit of catastrophic failure. Oh, hang on. This solution I'm doing seems finicky enough in terms of precision that I feel like maybe it's not what's intended. But it is available. It is possible. And it's also very promising, so I feel like we have to investigate it properly first. It is pretty easy to get yourself into an unwinnable position here, though, just with object placements that are slightly off. Okay. Drop slightly, there we go, that looks decent. Okay, and let's lower it. Bounce off. We could have bounced out directly at this point, but yeah, I think I'm going to be short by 1 object. The thing I'm thinking about is we need this panel on the left to be in place. We need to use 1 POW to kill the muncher. We use a 2nd POW to kill the thwomp. Then that means that we need 2 objects that are on the other side to brace the thwomp. Then we should be able to get P plus POW across there, maybe. Okay, let's try this. Let's get the P out of the way too so we don't step on it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to place the spring. Come on. No. No. I was trying to pick it up without activating that, like we were able to do perfectly well. Some other objects. Because the idea I had in mind was place the spring down here in this column. And then we take P and POW to basically force the thwomp down. And then we'll have an additional spring that we can bring back here and we can evacuate with it. But then we would still need to get up to the top right. So yeah, we're short by 1 object, I think. We are short by 1 object. If we could get out with the spring without spending a POW on the last muncher, that would be a much more promising approach. But the idea is that I want to stop the thwomp and then... Yeah, maybe the solution I was doing much earlier was on the right track and we just miscounted. We'll do it this way. For now, until we have a better idea. Yeah, because needing to spend the extra POW here is not great. Trading spring and a POW here, though, gets you through that muncher. But then it... oh. Puts you in the same situation where the... Okay, if that central drop happens, we can still salvage that situation by attempting to spend a third POW early. Yeah, I'm just thinking about the roll of the POW that is over the center flimsy lift platform, and I think that must be for killing the thwomp. And the question is, do we need to kill the thwomp? I think we do, because at some point we'll need to go back to the left side to load one more object down below. I feel like this is probably not the intended path then. Using the spring to get across. But we'll try it anyway. Okay, let's try that. Here we go. Yeah, we got a toss. So that's sort of interesting that even after you unload this, that you have some trouble picking up the spring without activating the platform. It's because of that one-way panel collision. Whoops. Jumped up right towards that. Yeah, it's because of the one-way panel collision that the way that Maker 1 logic works is that if you're underneath, like your head will actually bump against the one-way panel, and that's what activates the blue platform and forces you to land on it. Because I'm expecting the one-way panels to work like Maker 2 mentally, where if you're standing under the panel part of it, you're able to jump through smoothly when you're going perpendicular, but doesn't seem to be the case here, and that led to all kinds of trouble with being forced to activate the blue platform when I'm just trying to pick up the spring. This is not far enough. There we go. So we will try it. Nope. Okay, let's try that. There we go. Yeah, we'll drop it. We'll try it again. I would like to try to grab the spring with no complications, but the... Yeah, there is a specific problem that I see with this. What do we stack this? Hang on. Let's try to jump up through this. There we go. We stack this. No, not like that. Same idea as we had before, except we're going to stack, whoops, this guy over. And we'll take the P and the POW over together. I think, mentally calculating this, I'm still going to be short by one object. I'll show you what I mean by that. Because... yeah, if we drop the P here, we'll step on it when we don't mean to. On the other hand, if we stack P plus POW, we just go out the right slot, and then we can maybe pick up the objects as we go. Let's see how high this bounces. I'll just calculate. Because we can pick up the P. Yes, we can. In that case, we take the POW and then we attempt to jump across. Would be nice if we could do that. And can we grab the P? There we go. Hang on. I think I'm going to drop the POW back onto the left, just to make things easier on myself. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to stack two objects on top of it, and there's a reason why. Because that we stop the thwomp? No, it displaced. Okay. I was hoping to stop it. One moment. We can do it. As long as we don't accidentally activate the P or something. Oh, we just need to center it a bit better. Let's grab this guy first. I was hoping to force the thwomp to stop. What we can do is, whoops, hang on. This is not far over by now. Nope. And I was hoping to go back to the left with one spring. There is a problem with that, which is that if you use a spring on the left side to activate that POW on the left, then you have no springs left over to do the high jump later on. So that method is short by one object. That doesn't quite work. It's a bit inelegant. I feel like it's too fussy to be the intended solution. So let's go back to what we were doing originally just for a moment. And explore that route a little further to see if it's a bit more promising. So this was the original method I had instead. That's go through here. Then we drop through without hitting the panel. Then let's use complication. We would still need a spring on the left side here though, and then we would still get into the same problem with having too few objects available. Yeah, because under this scheme you would need 2 objects here, which is too many. I was really hoping the thwomp jamming strategy would work. But anyway. Okay. Yeah, because now you're going to have issues with the thwomp on the way back. Because you launch the bomb, and then when you come here, you have some problems. So specifically, that I can't grab this POW. Well, although you can go over like this. Okay, that's fine. That kind of works. And we can't afford to lose this spring, but we can use one POW. Wait, no, we're fine, actually. We don't even need to kill the thwomp. We just go down here. What's the complication from here? We need to spawn an additional bomb, right? Do we need to hit a P-switch to spawn that bomb? I think maybe we might. Oh. Oh, okay. Didn't expect that. Oh, I see the problem. We have no bombs available now to kill this. Unless we need to use the... Yeah, no, I know what it is. The skull there is going to give me access to the blaster by lifting it. Once it lifts the blaster, that's going to give me a bomb. Hang on. Let's fly a bit more accurately. Yeah, I didn't expect to get a leaf here. That should lift, and that should give me a bomb. No, it's going to give me spawning. I guess we whip it. And after we whip it, then we can just break through. Okay, that's easy then. That was easier than I thought. I was totally overthinking it by attempting to do the more precise maneuver of spreading the spring over instead. So we should have just kept with our original method and just, you know, followed it to the next logical step. And we would have solved this much earlier. It's just that I thought that, oh, maybe we need to remove the thwomp. to get over it safely, but no, we just needed to jump over to POW and do the simple thing. So yeah, that wasn't bad at all. A little bit of hidden information there. Certainly didn't expect a leaf. But then, you know, it was a big question mark what the skull and the blaster on the right side were going to be for in the long run. Yoshi's definitive plan seems like this is a sequel, and a very popular sequel, to the diabolical plan earlier on when Yoshi was outright trying to kill me. Let's take a look and see what happens. Okay. Here's big Yoshi pixel art. And then 2 Yoshis are going to run over here and do what? Bait me into the house. Come on in, they say. This is the part where Charlie the Unicorn gets his kidneys taken out. Anyway, the eggs are going to stay there, and yeah, Yoshi has tricked me once again. Imagine that. I guess we bump this, and then Yoshi comes out. And that was very precisely placed that the Yoshis managed to split in such a fashion. Okay, and then we need to not stand on top of that because he's going to try to snipe me. As we expected. Or didn't. Yeah, so he's going to add a little pressure to me here. After telling me to come on in. Spawning a bomb that forces me down. That's the part where Yoshi's eggs drop. And he truly achieves manhood. Or dinosaurhood. Oh, we needed to use this, obviously, to... Yeah, no, we needed to use this to break this. I was thinking it would just, you know, conveniently walk into the position. Yeah, no, Bonafide Pirate, if you stepped out for a few minutes, the solution was just going back to what I did originally, which was to carry... which was to just use the third POW instead of trying to carry the spring across. I just went back to what we did originally, and it resolved itself very quickly. There's an extra step near the end where you are actually given a Tanuki leaf, and a Tanuki leaf allows you to break through the block under the gold card. Because you trade it up to a spiny head. So. It was simpler than I thought it would be. No, come on, this way. Yeah, so here's the thing, is that Maker 1 has these wall rebounds all over the place when you drop objects, even when you soft drop objects. That's one thing I'm really glad I changed to Maker 2, is just to make object throws against walls much more predictable. Maker 1 is quite bad for that in terms of just giving you rebounds that are really difficult to calculate visually. So yeah, it was a simple solution in the end. Whoops. What? This guy is just faking me out all over the place. Anyway. Well, Yoshi's racking up quite the win rate here. Anyway, drop some eggs, spawn some bombs. Yeah, there we go. Finally. Ooh, close one. That margin there, that was not the most comfortable. Mushroom check. And then I guess we just run it. Oh, maybe not. Oh, yeah, no, we should have stayed under, actually, and let Yoshi pass. But we need to survive to chomp into Yoshi here. Look at his little reverse clock as well. Very ominous. Oh, whoops, don't want to jump that high. I mean, that's because the dash into conveyor is something we need to keep in mind here. Yeah, we need to drop one slot at a time, basically. And... oh, no, Chomp's gonna come in. Oh, no. Tried to duck there too quickly before we dropped into the slot. These conveyors do have a way of throwing me off quite a bit. Okay, let's just let this guy run. Let the clown car go, and then we'll just let him run again. Take it patiently. So much for that trap. Oh! Wiggler chase, in keeping with the Wiggler level that we saw earlier. Whoop! Oh, okay, we do need to race him. Yeah. It is a race. Doing this a bit sluggishly. Anyway, we have a strategy here. We just wait for the chomp. And not get bumped too much. Now we need to race, and we need to react pretty quickly. Okay. Missed that last jump there, but we made it. And Yoshi's going to try to body slam me over here, and he's going to miss. Here's another split. Oh. How was that? Okay, no, you still have some room to walk. I guess maybe we're not supposed to hit that. I mean, it wasn't going to give me anything friendly off those note blocks, we should have known, but... yeah, because the egg just splits Yoshi's up top. Oh yeah, I guess because of the Yoshi egg change, like this big egg giving you split Yoshis is something that's also Maker 1 exclusive, because, you know, now the large eggs just give you red Yoshi instead. I guess we just don't touch the eggs. On the assumption that everything's going to spawn a hazard. Oh yeah. That's okay, we can probably still walk it over gently if we don't run into problems with his Spinies reversing at the far wall or something. I think we just need to dodge every egg at this point. Yeah, I don't just kind of remember that the egg split is something that is not a returning mechanic. I mean, I know it's not in Maker 2, it's more that I just remember the reason it's not in Maker 2 is because of the red Yoshi egg taking over in the palette. Once you play enough Maker 1, you realize just how much of the more sophisticated levels are just not doable at all in Maker 1. At least not in quite the same way. We had that experience with the YMM levels where it seemed like every other level was using something that was Maker 1 exclusive, unbeknownst to the makers at the time. Okay. No need to rush this. As long as we're not racing any Spinies across. And we are through. Alright. It's gonna drop me through. Do a conveniently placed mushroom shack. And then we've got some movable walls here where the Yoshis activate all kinds of bunch of traps on the way over. Now, do we want to grab this? Presumably we do, yeah. And then what happens when we unleash the P? I feel like we should race this. What about this slot here? That's ground top. What does that do? Oh, yeah, head bump over to the conveyor belt. That's what it is. Okay, and then that activates the bomb on the right side. What's that do? That activates this bomb. Let's stand out of the way. We fall in without getting zapped by fire. But just in case you do, it gives you the shellman at the end as a bit of insurance. And it's a shell ride followed by a chase. Well, good thing we have a shellman. Oh, we don't have a shellman. Yeah, we're dead. I guess Yoshi was supposed to fire into the bomb, and then the wall would detonate in time for us to continue the shell ride. Yeah, really interesting to see this return to the concept of one of the really early levels in this set, with several months of mechanical refinement and game knowledge to really ramp up the spectacle. Yeah, come over here and give me the bomb, please. There we go. That's why I thought it was very valuable to play all of the levels, including the earliest ones, because you can sort of chart that course of development like this. Okay, let's see that walk over. Same idea as before, we'll just get everything well out of the way, and hopefully not get hit by fire. Yeah, it's not really a risk if you look at its position. That kind of have to go out of your way to get hit by the flame. Whereas here, that's... oh, no. Yeah, because it looks like the shells deflect at that point. That's interesting. But I guess you just stand on the right side. No, you're supposed to leave the shell right at that point, because the shells will deflect against a hard block anyway. And then, if you're leaving the shell right at that point, then you wait for a bomb to open up the wall for you. But I suppose the shell train kind of deflects back and forth until things open up. No, actually, they would get squished at the hard block, or perhaps take out the Yoshi Tower when it deflect. Anyway, definitely taking some needless damage there that we can avoid on future attempts. Anyway, come on up, Yoshi. Here we go. The clown car tracking is going to work quite nicely. And we'll just wait here until everything's in position. Why, hello. Fancy meeting you here today. Here in the deepest, darkest Yoshi dungeon. Okay, let's continue. And let's find the shell ride this time. Yeah, the shell ride, of course, is also a returning concept from an earlier level that we saw, so... kind of interesting to see how some of the things that the earlier Wariuzzo levels were exploring coming back here. I think at this point, I wonder if we can grab Yoshi. Yes, we can, and so we've enslaved him once again, which is precisely the outcome he wished to avoid. I bet we get to dunk him again at the end, too. Except we need to grab something to dunk it on top of the POW, I suppose. No, we just jump like that and leave him. I think we're gonna... oh, okay, no, we are gonna squish him this time. The bomb's gonna come down and crush Yoshi hit the POWs, destroy itself, and give me an opening. So we bounce the swamp over, and then down comes the guillotine. Just to make sure this time, you know? It's going to promise another sequel, of course, because that's what Yoshi does. And he's not done with us yet. Turns out we had just squished one of his doppelgangers. The very devious-looking me on our maker here really speaks to Yoshi's mood as well, I think. Ms. Piranha's Spinny. This is version 1.2. Okay, I guess we'll see what this is all about. Yeah, it's sort of interesting to see some of these thematic levels and puzzles and a bit of a mix here, so let's take a look. Now, for those joining me late, this was already kind of the second segment of my stream today because we were kicked offline by Wii U maintenance for an hour, so I'm not going to run too long today simply because this was already a continuation after disconnecting earlier. But we'll try to get a few more levels in, at least. It's just that if you're coming in late and seeing that I've only been on for an hour and a half or so, that's not entirely true. However, these have been great. I wish I could just stick with them indefinitely. But alas, it looks like we need a helmet. And it'll be through here somewhere. Yeah, I mean, these jumping piranhas would be a bit of a nuisance. I guess we'll just go through this way. Then, I will have no access to the flowers over here until I get dumped. And even after that, will not. Look at them, I'm just sliding along with this spiny stack over here. Anyway, I guess we just go up at this point and jump over. Why couldn't we just do that before? Oh, because of the track displacement of the munchers. Yeah, I see. I guess we just race it. Have the helmet? Well, now we have a helmet. That's not what I thought it would be used for, but I guess now we just hit this and punch our way up. Oh, nope. Guess we can't punch that guy. Yeah, we do have to dodge them. And lift this up as we go. I guess we have to, whoops, wait for the opportunity. Yeah, we eventually load it up to... Well, we don't load it up to the bottom, we push until we have an opportunity to hit the bomb. I mean, why don't we just let this guy drop? There's no particular reason. No, we need the piranha to fire at the bomb, that's what it is. We can't actually access the bomb otherwise. We need... Yeah, because we can't actually jump into that. We need the piranha to shoot the bomb, and so we're trying to get into position after having expended the available mushrooms. Yeah, let's wait for better timing here. There we go. And then we face it this way after we pop it on. Okay, very nice. We fall. Oh, missed that coin there, that's unfortunate. Mushrooms grow on trees, didn't you know? Well, that was risky, but we made it. That was also risky. I guess we just push this one up. All we like, right? Yeah, and then we have to get back over here, perhaps, to see what we can do with... Why would we want to... Oh, I see. No, it's because we perhaps come through here and take damage, or... No, there's a big interaction towards central column. That's what we need. We need to release this first, though, and it'll probably give me a shell ride after deflecting everything. Yeah, and then the shell bounces back and forth until it gives me the ride. So yeah, once again, some ideas being repeated in Smashing and reincorporated from other concepts. Bring us something new. I kind of recognize this particular tower building setup with the stilettos. I wonder if it's from another level. I know that Wariuzzo had a boot level in Maker 2. And I don't know if that's the one I'm thinking of that had this stack building as well. Anyway, through here we go. Yeah. Okay, so what's going on here? Plants everywhere. Oh, I see. Look at this guy. You look at what we're facing here on the right. It's one big mega plant machine. Someone who kind of built a quasi room scale piranha plant boss in Maker 2, I feel totally outclassed by this. Anyway, I guess we have to reset through here until we find out what we needed to do. Oh no, this is just a chase. We did make it through properly. Flower garden over here. I guess we should grab this. Just a one-up. Before the muncher falls in. Oh! No, that's not a spiny hat, that's just a spiny. Okay. We got dunked by that. So I guess we take this and we loop back in the door, and then now we fight. Boss in earnest. By taking out this stack, and then up top. And we'll need a stiletto in order to cross the munchers. Yeah, kind of interesting that it gives you a preview of what sort of boss you're dealing with, and then you get to the point where you build up the weaponry to give it a proper fight. Now, it looks like this is supposed to be a bump with a helmet or something, but that would require... Oh no, not a helmet, we'll just use this to raise the muncher. Yeah, I love that as a kind of sequence of puzzle interactions. I think so, anyway. Maybe this wasn't a bad idea. Oh, that bit was. Yeah, because I feel like it was supposed to raise... No, the muncher, of course, goes under the... Yeah, come on, let's not be silly here. But we need to place it dead center. No? Maybe it's timing sensitive. Yeah, because I feel like it was supposed to punch everything up, but there we go. Now it's placed properly. We have 40 seconds anyway, we're not going to really see this through this to its conclusion, but... Let's run across anyhow and see what we can do. As we run across, and then at this point we try to hit, or perhaps we just exit. 10 seconds. Yeah, and then we have to go back and kill it. So we're not going to do this on time, but that's kind of neat that you circle around the central room multiple times until you build up the arsenal you need to punch through the ice column in the center, and you punch all the way up until you hit the piranha. That's sort of at the core of all this machinery. Yeah, just a gigantic boss spectacle. It shows you this room-scale creature with its feet and its muncher arms and everything. It's basically the Ms. Piranha Spinny. Yeah, I guess that's just, you know, it's mega robot. It's trying to take you apart. And you just kind of build up the weaponry to progress through this until you... Whoops. Have the spiny head. Once you trade up to the spiny head, you just punch through the center in a very satisfying fashion. Anyway. Yeah, I always love seeing these mega bosses in Mario Maker. I think aesthetically, it was much easier to do this in Maker 1, because if you look at all the semi-solid stacking that you can do in the center of the setup, for instance, that's no longer possible in Maker 2, where your total overlaps and collisions is limited to 5, and everything's much more restricted. The game will only remember a set overlap order according to a strict series of rules, rather than reflecting the full flexibility of what you can place in the editor. Certainly aesthetically, there's a lot going on here that is Maker 1 exclusive. It's not even, you know, center offsets or anything, even though we've got lots of use out of that. It's a lot of things like the semi-solid stacking and getting the body laid out, connecting all these stomping feet that also happen to be high heels, or in high heels. Anyway, let's actually watch the pattern this time, and then Spiny's going to drop, and then we grab the fire flower. We've seen the one up before, so we don't need to fuss too much about that, but go through here, and then trade up to the boots. Notice that once you get the spiny head, like, you can potentially create a shortcut over here to get more boots unlocked. That's something we should keep in mind if we are in position to retain progress that way. Right, this is the bit where we have to place this on top of the muncher this time. And hopefully the timing will work out. Yeah, that works out a lot better. We didn't desync them all over the place. Not on this pass, anyway. We just continue. Wrap around. Yeah, notice too that eventually, possibly, you'll be able to punch through this as well with a spiny head and go over to POWs. I feel like that's going to be relevant to something when we eventually get there. Well-placed piranhas for jumping. Guess we do have to drop the boot. Trade up to the spiny head, and then we'll try not to lose it. Little tutorial reminder that it breaks through ice blocks for anybody who had gotten or otherwise not known this. And we punch through the center. No. Come on. At least we do have the vine here to make it easy to go back up for more. Very considerate. And of course, on the previous attempt, with only a few seconds left here, we didn't have time to really look at that possibility. Anyway, let's punch. You'll notice, by the way, key doors didn't exist at this point, so boss setups had to be done through obstructions like that. I'm pretty sure this level was created before these were possible. I guess we never did see the whole bit with breaking through ice blocks for the POWs, but maybe that's the route over to the 1-up that we see in the top right. Anyway, yeah, up the plant at the end, and then we are out of here. Yeah, because there definitely were some additional places you could unlock with the Spiny Hat if you didn't go for the boss right away and just progress through the loop again, I think. One screen puzzle 2. Depending on complexity, this might be the last one today. Wow, 0.13. Must be something very sensitive on this one. Lots of potential resets. Oh. Yeah, and then we'll finish the rest as much as we can in at least one more stream. I mean, Kaizo were much less likely to complete 0.01, you know. I doubt we'll actually manage to do it, but we'll do what we can, and we'll do at least one more today. First one-screen puzzle was not hard. I was just kind of exploring the wrong thing for a little while, and it was very prone to incoming damage, which is what you kind of expect when you see puzzles with a very low clear rate, that failures will happen. So it looks like we'll need to activate the bomb probably by dropping fire on top of it, like a potaboo off of the note block that you see under the timer in the top right corner. And we'll need to get rid of 3 munchers along the way. We see 3 total POWs. We'll need to activate all of them unless there's much going on in the top half, if anything. This might just be truly one screen, though, in terms of not having much there. So, we see this muncher through the central column. We don't know what that's about yet. But we could potentially punch through it using the fuzzy hat. We don't see any kind of room reset. And this will need to be an object placement here. Has to grab the P. Possibly a spring, possibly a POW, doesn't really matter either way. Now, here, let's just go back down first for a moment. And the first and only available move is to grab the POW, so we'll use the POW to start walking places. When we eventually manage to punch through this, so for example by grabbing a shell and instead of wearing it as a shell, just firing it, then we can reclaim the POW from over here and then grab the shell. Which I think we'll need to do because we can't actually get the POW upstairs yet. Since we can't carry anything through here. What we can do is go like this, and then, oh, yeah, there we go. Now, this seems like you can't actually go for that shell unless you've obstructed yourself with something first, or... yeah. That seems to be a fairly precise location. Maybe that's not it, because it would allow you to go over to where the muncher is located, but that seems rather too precise to be the thing that you need to do to get the shell. You can always place the POW like this, though, and then I wanted to place it over here, though. That's the issue with thinking about it like this. I mean, this is a placement. We can always use the POW too to knock something out, but it would probably be a bad idea. It would take out a shell, which we still need. But yeah, I wonder, because sometimes it's hard to tell if something is just going to be an execution challenge. This would just trap you here. It's not going to be that. It's going to be some other second move with the POW. Grabbing the POW is, like I said, the only first thing that you can do. You'll need to be able to take damage at some point, perhaps, in order to grab the POW that is top of all these swamp columns. Maybe we need to place this POW somewhere that we can grab it at a later point. If, for instance, we're here, we can also place it on top of the swamp. That would allow me to cart other objects above, but that would not really be that helpful, I think. We can use the POW against something. I'm thinking about whether Muncher would be something useful to displace, but I'm not sure we can do that. There's something that will dunk this note block that's in this column as well. If we can get something to walk towards it. Possibly there's something else I can do with the POW placement. So we know how to make it to the other side and over to the spring. It's a bit of a sticking point after that. So what kind of... oops. That's not what I wanted to do, but... I was about to say, what kind of valid second move do we have? Let's just explore for a moment. Yeah, something's clearly supposed to walk over towards the block in the center. Oops, that was meant to be a spin, I just got the corner on that. So we need to think about where the POW lets me go. That is new and unprecedented. And moreover, where we can put the POW after that. The one thing I was thinking of is POW over here, and then perhaps if you're jumping on a spring, you're still able to reach over and grab the POW if you're careful. But yeah, the spike up top seems to specifically preclude using the spring to bounce up to the shelmet. That seems like it's deliberately prevented there. What we can do, perhaps, is put the POW on top of the... I'm not sure why we would want to do that. Put the POW on top of something else. Maybe have some other way of heading down. Just take a look at some of this again. Yeah, because I'm seeing, you know, object placement over here would get you up to the P. Nothing will get you over here. Nope, just trying to spin again, and it's not the way to dismount. Actually, wait, I have to check something. No. Yeah, the thing is, if you catch the corner as you're trying to spin jump down, you don't land safely over the thwomp. Let's see you grab this POW. Oh, you know what? No, we're in Super Mario World. We can do up throws. What are we doing? But single column, of course, always leads to collision problems with up throws, so it's not going to be that. But if we up throw from one POW to the other, that's 2 POW hits, right? Like if we... Oh no, it's not even going to do that. It's just going to hit the POW and then softly drop back down. That's interesting. That's not what I expected. Again, maybe Maker 2 brain is eluding us from certain techniques or solutions, because look at this. And of course it falls, but that it hits the POW on the top panel and doesn't activate is interesting. Because it implies to me that the POW, one possible move with it is up throw to where, no it's not, because it still won't go through the central column. One thing it implies to me is what? Let's take a look here. Where else can we send it then if up throw is an option? Because I'm thinking that, you know, if you kind of toss it up. Let's see. I don't really even see what the first move is going to be. That's the problem. Yeah, it'll never go up in a place like that, but if you get rid of the bump in the bottom left, let's see. Well, the only up throw location that kind of makes sense is this one here. You can catch this again. Yeah, I just don't see what the first move could be. Because there's nothing else to hit. Unless it is just a precise entry towards the shell to pick it up. But I don't think that's the case. I think the spike is just too much of an obstruction. Because the tile heights just never work for that to happen. Where you can use the spring to get up to the Buzzy helmet without winding up either into the spike or over the cloud. It means potentially that if you do something like place a POW there ahead of time, there's a safe way to get back down, that would be ideal, but you need to drop the POW in the first place to go over there, so I have to look at this more carefully. I don't know what else there is to interact with. Oops. It's literally the only first move is to grab the POW, right? We discovered this little interaction here with the up throw. What POW seems to, at the top row, seems to take collision priority over the spike, but then it also softens the up throw from below. I don't see it. So what first moves are even possible here? Throwing the POW would destroy the shell. That's counterproductive. Lodging this on top, maybe. That doesn't get me anything except the ability to carry more objects up here. Obviously, if you kick the shell over, it would hit this block and then reverse. So maybe I need something to kick the shell. Yeah, because if you just hit a jump input, you just wind up over here instead. And over the cloud. Wait, what about this corner though? Is that... No, that's not something we can... enter. That's just a ground block corner, right? I think it is. Or is it... hang left. Well, it's one of those situations where maybe finishing a day with a puzzle is not the best idea, but that's something we discovered the hard way. Well, we know that we can use the POW to hit munchers. We know you can use the POW to hit the thwomps. Maybe if you do some kind of unstacking of the thwomps, then what would they do? Not a whole lot. Might be something mechanical that I just don't know about. Well, we know we can't go up there, but there's a way to move that shell perhaps, but yeah, we can't actually get up there with a POW. It's too much height to cover. This is still extremely suspicious to me. I wonder if... Oh. I wonder if that could have done something useful. You know, the up throw towards the POW, you've got a lot of things we can't see yet over on this side. Maybe we should punch through this area. Yeah, there's quite a lot more that we haven't seen too past this point. But that's obviously not going anywhere. I don't know why I tried that. The thing is, if we can activate the P, then maybe we can convert these into coin blocks, and then that would potentially help quite a bit. But you would need something to stand on. I don't have anything to stand on. You need a POW. Is there a way to raise the POW so that I can grab it up here? Not really. Not until we bust some more things open. Am I able to pick up the POW? At this point, we're not. Well then. Maybe there's something I can run towards. I'm looking at this layout and I still don't know what the muncher is for, except as acting as a damageable gate, I suppose. Well, I don't know. Yeah, whoops, that's a mistake. Yeah, sometimes it's just kind of an execution blind spot. Sometimes it's really not. Let's see. Springs down here. Can't really go anywhere else. Oops. Yeah. I guess we brace that with the POW and just have a platform to running up and down. Well, get up on top of that. Yeah, I don't even see what step 2 is supposed to be. You know, step 1, grab the POW. Step 2, what? So I don't see what's accessible from any position here. We don't know how to reach the spring without spinning the POW as a platform. And past that point, we kind of lock ourselves. Maybe it is something that's blind in execution too. Get up to the shell. Look, if we try to spin jump this, doesn't do anything. Yeah, and no matter what, that's just going to skip over that tile. You understand the clear rate at least. Yeah, exactly. Very easy to die at this and very easy to just reset immediately after step 1 because I don't know what the blind spot is this time. I mean, you know, a couple days ago we had a huge blind spot with one of the other puzzle levels that was on Pink Birdo's profile, which just ended up being an issue of executing a particular trick quickly enough and cleanly enough. I bet that maybe it's going to be some kind of item trickery that gives you a particular jump. Well, no, I mean, that's just on the assumption that the clear rate matters here. Try to see if there's a way to safely bump the POW over to the muncher. Because then at least we have a clear way to fall back down in the event of issues. Because, yeah, we don't know how to interact with the cloud, we don't know how to interact with the... Or rather, what that spot is even doing for me. We basically don't know what the way out is supposed to be if you do end up in a trap that's above the muncher. This is so suspicious, though. Oops, not that. I'm talking about, like, hitting the POW with the other POW. Anyway. So what is this? I don't see what else we can interact with so far. Can trap the clump in position. What's this called? One screen puzzle 2. I don't see who's even going to walk into that position. Maybe we need to do some kind of camera adjustment before we can even see what's going on. Notice in the top right some kind of launching setup over there. Yeah, I'm looking at this and I just don't see what step 2 is. Step 1 is always going to be grab the POW, but if you can't jump from the trampoline over to the shell, then what? Maybe we should just try it again a few times because it just looks too suspicious. Then even if you just give the lightest tap to the jump button, it sends you careening up top. Like there's not really a very broad range of distances, and you wouldn't want to be falling towards this spike over here anyway. A bit complacent after the previous puzzle turned out to be fairly straightforward. I suppose we can try to just unstack some munchers, but we'd only unstack one really because we don't have an object to hit the POW up top, at least not yet. Oh, we could have done the spin jump up here just fine, it's just that we have no follow-up. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop all the donut blocks. Yeah, because POW hits the POW in the top corner, and then what? And it doesn't even hit the POW in the top corner. Like, you know, maybe it's supposed to be some kind of object deflection. Nope, it kind of realigns like that. Well, unless there's some kind of overlap illusion where this is actually safe or something. No, it's not. Well, the thwomp in the corner is pretty much entirely to give you a way to spin upwards. And of course I have to remember the one-way panel logic is not the best here. Yeah, I've been looking at this and I just don't understand what step 2 is. Because we can't access the shell, we can't access the thwomps. Or the munchers, or the other thwomp, or the P-switch over here. Anything at all that I could just stand on over there. Because the problem is that, you know, you can't really take this up with you due to the thwomp having a stranglehold in that corner. Well, I don't see it. Yeah, we may call the stream fairly soon, I think. Because I've been staring at this and I just don't see step 2. We can fire the POW, we can place the POW, but only in a certain number of locations. Oh, we're still playing around the bottom. Go from the POW to the spring, but we can't seem to pick anything up in that sequence. Yeah, we should see if we can pick something up in that sequence. Not really. Well, I really don't see it. There's a lot going on the right side here too. Yeah, maybe it's some kind of known Maker 1 mechanic that I've just completely forgotten about. Like some interaction here that I don't know or don't remember. Possibly including all of these one-way panels, which as we've established are definitely going to play by their own rules here. Yeah, I'm just looking at this and thinking insufficient information. Because at this point, you know POWs will interact with it, or rather destroy once. You know that going up here will just get you locked. It's definitely getting you locked. I'm just checking and poking around. Let's see. I mean, if I'm not intending to pick up the POW as a first move, then what is to be done here? If something like a P-switch activation, that's all the way in the top corner. I mean, generally, would not be able to make this jump unassisted. Anyway. Yeah, because we can place is an object here to go over to P, but then how do we get out of the helmet in a time conflict? Well, I've been staring at this for so long, and it's one of those where, it does remind me of that one of the puzzles that stuck us for the longest time, where we just missed what the execution requirement was on the first step. This held us off ever since. I mean, yeah, I don't see it. Because what can I even hit? Like, we've been looking at this through several failed attempts already, and I just don't see what we can make contact with. Whoops. Well, like I said, we might not be able to clear everything. I have to think about this to see if any inspiration strikes. Look at the vine that's kind of hanging off the goal, too, on the right side. That's awfully suspicious in its own way. Let's, take a look here. This is somebody who is quite a bit. Let's yeah, there might be some kind of knowledge check here. I just don't see it. I mean, this is the first room. It should be something fairly simple. Just looking at this and seeing if I can discern any obvious quantitative puzzles or anything. So, say POW is here, spring is here. Yeah, it seems like it's some work to set up in terms of permissions and everything like that. I just don't see it. Kind of looks like a kind of creature in the center, doesn't it? That's about to gobble everything up. Mine could just be playing tricks on us here, though. I don't see what else you can hit. You can hit the thwomps, you can hit the munchers in the bottom rights. Don't have access to 3 POWs, so that's not going to happen just yet. At least not as planned. Yeah. How left of the spring? Is there anywhere else we can play this whatsoever? Not convinced there is. This is when we're standing close. I mean, we don't touch these, but I wonder if there's an overlap somewhere that would be safe. Yeah, if you come up towards the cloud, maybe there's a way to change my jump height. Nope. Stuck. Yeah, I don't know if I have the presence of mind to really push through this one today. We may have to sleep on it and think about it, and then start the next stream with it instead. Because I know that I'm likely to spin my wheels looking at this for hours at a time if we don't keep things within reason. Fortunately, not many clears in this sitting. But yeah, I just really don't see what the second move can be. So I don't really even see anything we can do. I'm just looking at the whole screen carefully here, and I can see where a lot of the interactions will eventually come from. Like the no block in this column or anything like that, but I don't really even see what to do with this. I just can't even kill this thing on a track. Let's go back to... Oh no, we can't. I was about to say something about the main world subworld split, and I realized no, this is just a main world and there's no split. It's just there. As we... Oh, you know what? What if we just use the POW? What does that give me? Maybe some kind of hidden information that we have to decrypt. Again, we don't have a way to get past the first room, and I don't know if there's anything out of the corner or anything like that. Yeah, no, I think we might have to admit defeat for this one for now. Come back to it when it's more productive use of attention and when we have some new ideas. I would like to get through this whole profile list thing, but this one, I just have no idea what to look for. Maybe it's some kind of glitch or mechanic that was exclusive to Maker 1, which I wouldn't know about. But we've received no indication of what might work, and you've got the thwomp blocking the pipe over there. I wonder if we can lower the thwomp over there, hit it with a POW, unblock it, and then if you unblock it, then maybe something comes out of the green pipe. Like something flying that will go through walls. But of course that's cut off from where we are right now, so... Yeah, I don't see it. Because we don't have any objects to work with so far, other than... all the usual things we had going already. Yeah, I'm just not sure. We may have to dip out of this one for now. I want to look at the main screen on it just to see if we can discern anything about it. Particularly because we haven't scrolled the camera high enough to really see the top half. Let's take a look. We'll probably try to come back to it, but yeah, we actually do have a somewhat complete picture of the level. Judging by what the very tiny thumbnail image is telling me.
mean, I don't really want to skip it because we haven't had to skip up to this point, but you know, I'm beginning to see that when we have super low clear rates like that, then that might be necessary, especially with the 0.01 over here later. So why don't we finish on something that's more of a platformer level so we don't, you know, finish on just staring at this. I want to go back to it. I want to clear it. I don't really want to do things out of order. But I see nothing I can do here. I just don't see what it could possibly be. Even looking at the main screen here. Because you know where the muncher stack is going to be next to the gates. And yeah, we had a rough idea of where some of the various blades were going to be. There's no additional information here that I don't have. It's just that maybe there's something very technically challenging here when it comes to handling something like the power, handling something like the shell. You know, like if we're able to create a situation where we can softly head bump the POW over into a more advantageous location up top. But I just see nothing that I can interact with. Like, I just don't see where the POW goes once we pick it up. And if not using the POW, then what can we do that isn't completely sticky? So anyway, let's try to finish with the platforming level then and do some P jumps. This one seems to be extremely well played as well. Absolutely huge level if you look at it. Yeah, because some of these have really been using some amazing numbers when it comes to traffic. This was in December, the previous one was also December. Yeah, we're gonna bypass it for the moment. Let's just play this and probably finish up with that for the day. Anyway, cat and P jumps. Okay. And I guess we just load some more here. Oh, we're supposed to do something. Oh no, we're not. Okay. That's a lot more P jumps, I guess. Oops, no, I was trying to jump off of that. Guess we just lost the costume, that's okay. Then we can just do lineups here. And that gives you a checkpoint. Oops. I should lower this one and fall in. Nope, that's a bad idea. We're going to lose now. Needed to catch it as was on its way up. Yeah, I still don't understand the puzzle. I'm still thinking about it, even as I'm playing a totally different level. I feel like there's some kind of knowledge check that we failed there. The pipe should spawn another P for me to use. We should have considered that. Anyway. So let's spawn something else for me. Yep. We just fall in. Oops, missed. Pow's gonna hit. Pow's not gonna hit. We need to release it and then we back. That'll give you something, but Are we using it? Yes, we are. Very helpful. Oh, and we've got the Mercedes GLA that made its way to Mario Kart. We do need something like a shell might eventually bump through that one muncher though. Yeah, this gives you a particular location for the P. Then we exit. Oh, and I guess that switches us back. That's okay. A little bit of displacement over here, very satisfying. He bounces. Probably more to come over here once we get within spawning range. Oops, that's okay, we got checkpoint. And another cat. A couple of doors accessible here. I was hoping to just... whoops. Ride the shell out the rest of the way, but I guess it's just a quick jump there. Okay, that works. With a little bit of a sink there. Yeah, damage was unfortunate there, but oops. Not as it's unfortunate as just taking a spill. Okay, let's try it again. Yeah, not well timed there, or there. Same obstacle as before. There was that upper door here as well that was successful. Let's go. Is there low? That's good. Oops. We need to bump it to the right. That. Not quite good enough. Let's bump all the way. Anyway, just need to plan this accurately and then everything else is just reaction time. Closest we'll get to 3D World this game. As Cat Mario declares victory. So I want to see if off stream I can think of any breakthrough for the one-screen puzzle, because the thing is we can't even get past step 1, which is surprising. Where, you know, I can pick up the POW, but I don't see a single thing to do with it. You took a nap in the time it took for that star to go through? Yeah, but at least you came out of it the other side alright. Supernova, welcome incidentally. Yeah, we're probably going to call it for today since this was already the second segment of a two-part stream interrupted by maintenance. We did have to bail on one puzzle because, like I said, we didn't even see what the first interaction was going to be. Notice how the P switches are yellow in the layout here. Right, because the image was taken back when they were originally yellow, and it was only after a patch that were changed to blue. Back in Maker 1. So when this was first uploaded, they were still in yellow. And yeah, I think it was a patch that actually changed it. Now that I think about it. But then the image, once recorded, is still saved to the course accordingly. Anyway, we'll try to do as much as we can of the rest on another stream. I don't know if we'll manage to do the puzzle. Obviously, the 0.01 on this Kaizo level is a little bit concerning when it comes to our ability to do anything with it. You can see historically there are 14 clears. It's going to be a little more after that. The rest can probably be done one sitting, but we'll see how much we want to push through the one-screen puzzle into Kaizo when we get to them. Yeah, that'll be it for today, I think. So for the second time, I'll be bidding you folks goodbye. But yeah, no, this annoys me that I had to skip one. Because, you know, I was just staring at this and thinking, okay, I don't see step one. I don't even know what it is. And yeah, you can't tell anything about the clear rates because the thing is, this is also an extremely popular account. There are a lot of beginners who were playing on Wariuzzo's account because they were brought in by very popular and beginner-friendly levels. And so, you know, this P-jump one, it's just knowing how to P-jump. There's nothing to it that necessarily says 1%, other than the fact that a lot of people who don't know how to P-jump and didn't back in 2015 would have been trying it and learning that on the fly. But yeah, I mean, we don't know anything about what the clear rates tell us, so we'll just have to try things out accordingly and see if we can do the rest. Pretty good double session today, though. Really interesting to see ideas that were worked out very early on in the first few weeks of the game kind of coalesce into bigger and more ambitious levels as you play all of these together as a series. Have a 100% documents account? No. I'm hoping I'll have time to, but you know, servers need to continue to cooperate for that to be the case. I have a list of makers that I want to get through and hopefully either 100% or get as close as possible to doing. I don't think I'll manage to get through that list before the shutdown because I looked at, you know, how many weeks there are and how many streams I can realistically put in. But we will try our best and we will try to hit the makers that interest me the most. There's a very, very long list, but many familiar names are high on that list. Anyway, thank you for that. We're going to call it today. This annoys me so much. Can't stand skipping. And yeah, actually, we didn't get a clear flag on this one either, like I said, because this was the one that we hit server maintenance on after we had completed it. We finished it, we basically hit the server error as it was trying to register the completion. So maybe I'll just go back into this one and fill in the flag as well, because it's excellent. Other than that, though, real this time, we're going to pass you folks on somewhere else. Thank you for joining me for either the first or second segment today, if not both. Anybody listening to this would, of course, have been here for the latter. And we'll pass you on to somebody else, and we'll be back hopefully at least once more this week with more Maker 1. Thanks so much for watching, and until we meet again in whichever game and whichever generation seems to strike our fancy at a time, do have a wonderful time with everything you're doing, and as always, fare thee well.